Episode 1, Hoovering in the background. If I were you, I wouldn't start from here. I love my home, which is just as well as my wife Brenda and I are enjoying an indefinite lock-in. But no matter how congenial the company, a change of scenery will not come amiss. Motor neurone disease may have made me more helpless than a baby, albeit a mercifully silent one. But I hope my mind and my hands still have the strength to transport you and me to parts of our planet you may not have thought of visiting. But the journey I would like to take you on is neither physical nor virtual. Clearly, any travel that involves actually moving my dysfunctional carcass round the world is doomed to failure. The trip would soon degenerate into a magical misery tour. But neither am I proposing a virtual travel experience. There has been a lot of idle chat and woolly thinking recently about virtual reality. I should know, having just scaled the virtual Mount Everest by blinking my eyes. The word virtual implies a copy of the real thing which is not as good as the original but wants to take credit for any passing resemblance. No, in these days of restrictions and frustrated wanderlust, our cravings cannot be satisfied with mere imitations. I'm afraid virtual just won't cut it. The dreaded virus has made us all handicapped to some extent, but motor neurone disease has given me an advantage. I am tempted to say to you in a bitter smug tone, welcome to my world, but then it strikes me that this is precisely what I should be doing. I have had to get used to not going anywhere, to travelling through my imagination. So I am inviting you on a world tour. There won't be anything virtual about it. It is the real world, filtered through my imagination. As such, it will hopefully include little gems, places you have never thought of visiting and places which have hidden depths. Genuine diamonds in the rough, strewn across the globe. So where else to start but Peterborough? Why not leave your emotional baggage crying at the airport? Go on. Take my hand. I need all the help I can get. In my imaginary world, COVID doesn't exist, which makes it all the weirder that my imagination has apparently left me with all the disabilities stemming from my real life, MND. As you may know, I do not live in Peterborough. Our home is in Orpington, south of London and deep in what my mother used to call the pawnbroker belt. So, hop on the train with me to London and then on to my starting point. So why, in this overcrowded country, do I recommend people who want to see the world to visit Peterborough as an amuse-bouche before the feast begins? It seems sadly inevitable that mass tourism damages the very things it seeks to offer. So if you want to see a slice of Britain that has not become a Disneyfication of itself, Peterborough becomes a contender. It has Roman ruins and a typical town centre with plenty of old and quaint buildings, and one of the world's finest Gothic cathedrals. It witnessed the denouement and almost unique post-denouement, history's most compelling rivalries between Good Queen Bess and Mary Queen of Scots. I happen to have my spies on the ground, and one of my most trusted informants is Sue 007, not her real name. In her copious briefing notes, she covers a wide range of facts and figures, green spaces and cafes, but I know my audience well enough to cut straight to the Regina side and symbolic reinterment. Back in those bygone bloodthirsty days, dynasty or dynasty often did mean dynasty. Dramatists from Schiller downwards have fed off the tension generated by the houses of Tudor and Stuart in their struggle for the throne. According to the artists, sparks flew at their meeting, which is odd, considering they probably never met. Queen Mary was executed in Fotheringay and then buried in nearby Peterborough Cathedral. The collection of schoolchildren's howlers, 1066 and all that, got much closer to the truth. One pupil summarized the dilemma. Queen Elizabeth could get no peace with Mary hovering in the background. Nowadays we might call that dicing with death. The question remains, who won? Despite Elizabeth having the proverbial head start, in the long view the Immaculate Mary, clean of spots, may have had the last laugh. It was her son who succeeded Elizabeth. The Stuarts got to start a new age and a new dynasty, and one of the first things the new king did was to have his mother's remains exhumed from her tomb in Peterborough and laid to rest in Westminster Abbey. It is time for us to move on too, even though we have barely scratched the surface of Peterborough's story. Where will be the first stop on our world tour? We have made a slow start to our search for hidden gems. A quick taxi ride to the nearest airport and a few hours on a tourist plane might not seem the most auspicious next step. But trust me, what could possibly go wrong?